I was asked a question in the comments section of my previous video, which I'm rather surprised it took someone so long to ask me in this series. Is it ever moral, I guess? Is it ever a good thing, I suppose, is the question, to do a child to death in a particularly brutal way, painful and sexual violence? Well, that's a good question to ask somebody like me, because I'm a new father with all the incredibly strong protective instincts that flow from that. Now, there's a number of ways you can approach that kind of a question, and what someone is attempting to do, I suppose, is to question a position of supposed moral ambiguity, or to posit a position of moral absoluteness, moral clarity, where you come up with something that is just so heinous that it merits the title of immoral or evil or hate-worthy. It's an anathema. It's something you simply cannot have. It's haram in every possible way. Now, forbidden. Now, I would approach that from many different angles, but the first one I suppose I would come up with is, okay, let's say that it is an immoral act. How immoral is it? How evil an act is that, to have done something like that? How should we react to that? Is that an act that is so evil that we have to say that it is in and of itself an evil act? And how do we deal with the fact that it is an evil act, and in all circumstances, and in no circumstances can it be morally justified or morally explained or morally mitigated? What do we do about such acts? Okay, we prescribe them. That's my view. We make laws and we throw people in jail, or we kill them if we've decided that's how we're going to deal with it, or we punish them in however way we as a society deem necessary to punish such people, to both make them pay for what they did and prevent them from doing it again, and, protecting society. We just throw them into something called prison, which is essentially just a garbage dump, a sort of quarantine area where we put all the bad people in our society, or all the people that we just want out of circulation, just want to protect ourselves against. But how immoral is that? Okay, well, I made a video years ago about a guy who had said that this is why I left Islam, and one of the main reasons was this idea of an eternal damnation in Islam, which is really sort of heavily emphasized in the Quran. It's heavily emphasized in the Bible as well, or at least in some people's view of the Bible. If you've ever seen a Chick tract or something like this, all these fundamentalist evangelical types are really huge on Satan and hell and everything, and straight is the gate, narrow is the way type thing, or however it goes. What could you actually do in terms of a sin or an immoral act that would merit being damned for all eternity? At no point do you even cease to exist. You just keep suffering there forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever without end. That is what I would presume we would do with someone who is pure evil. You would just damn them for all eternity so they suffer forever. But then it asks the question, you sort of have to ask yourself, did they create their own nature? Did they decide, did they wake up one morning and say, I think I will become evil forever? And they have that choice every second of their life forever, saying, I am consciously going to opt to be an immoral agent here. My choice is forever to be a jerk and to be a bad person and to be worthy of being damned to hell here forever. I don't think that the idea of eternal damnation makes sense from any possible angle, especially from the angle of justice, I suppose, or the angle of good versus evil or morality. What act could you possibly commit that would make you fundamentally immoral? As I say, you take Hitler. Let's say 40 million people, those are the casualties of the Second World War. Throw in another 10 million when it comes to all the various holocausts that took place in Europe, perhaps more than that, perhaps a lot more than that. And just for good measure, we'll multiply that by 10 or 100 or 1,000 or whatever you want to do, whatever number you want to pick here. You toss Hitler into the fiery pit for 100 million lives, 100 billion lives, whatever you want. Take your pick. Just make sure it's just a finite number. Has he paid for what he's done? Has our proverbial child rapist paid for what he or she has done? When do we say the punishment has fit the crime? When do we say that you're now a whole person again? Is that even possible for someone to be a whole person again? Isn't that the problem of evil? It's really so hard to actually find it and pin it down.